You are your legacy. Now, many people may not think of that at certain times in their life, but I do. I'm 74, and so I do think about that. I think, what am I going to leave the world when I'm done? But I've thought about that for a long time in my life. I think I've thought about it since I was a kid. I said, I want the world to be something better. And that's also a line that's on the messages that I posted today on anyadvicefortoday.com. And I posted a string of them. And they were for July 4th. Because we're moving through a big transition in our world, which means that you're alive to aid in the creating the new world. That's what it is, and that's your legacy. That's why you're on the earth at this time, and that is to become your authentic self. I spent my entire life figuring out a way for you to do that and living it and proving it so that I know that it works. It does take us going inside and moving through all the old stuff, all the things that told us we couldn't do something, all the times we were told we weren't enough, some since we were children probably, or even before, because we do come in with a blueprint, things that we've remembered from our ancestors probably, or something you don't remember, but I do. And that was something that was so surprising for me to find. And when I saw the world shifting, I said, oh, wait a minute, I have something that can help so many people because I can see who they are. When I started doing automatic writing, it was never my intention to become a mystic or a channel or any of that stuff. I didn't know that was even within me. And then to compile all of this information for all those years that transforms lives. And I know that it does it because I we've tested it. It's worked. Because the only difficulty someone has is not understanding who they are and not knowing how to move beyond the blockages that have told them that they weren't brilliant, that they didn't have something to offer the world. And obviously this is the path that I accepted. It was my blueprint. And I fought it a lot of the times as well. I really resisted. I said, no, this couldn't possibly be me. Even down to the time where I first began with this program, I was shocked to see how people had transformed. I just couldn't believe that was happening or that it came through me. But see, it wasn't me. I just had the ability to access other information. This was universal cosmic intelligence. It wasn't me because I didn't know that information, but I've compiled it and it works for everyone. And you've seen and you've probably felt it as well. If you've read some of Wilhelm's works, you know that it causes you to think about yourself in a new way. And then we've understood science now. We know that neuroscience, we've understood that, how our brains work, and we've also understood cognitive behavior training. We learned that over time, meaning that we could change anything if we had a way of doing it. And I created a way of doing it. That's exactly what happened. And what's going on now in our world is we're moving through this, what people call the big shift or this big split. That means that we're finding ourselves, owning ourselves, and coming to our own identity. And for a lot of people, that has not been easy because you've been told something else for a long time, or you might have had a bunch of failures, or you might have had a whole lot of things that you thought you screwed up. I did all of that only to discover that it was worth it because now I can give everyone else something so they don't have to go through that, so they can live really wonderful lives. Now it's challenging to think that it could happen in that way, but I'm going to prove that it can. People said to me the other day, do you think you have something that could change the world? I go, well, yes, because it causes more people to become happy, to become their authentic selves, to become abundant, because that would change everything. That would change generations. I would listen to those words, and it was challenging to believe. And on the messages today, you'll see that there was a channeling session that Wilhelm said that 3 years ago, but now we can believe it. Especially when we're seeing what's happening in our world, when we see the things that are going on, where we say, why is this occurring? It's happening because it's waiting for us. The world is waiting for us to own who we are. The world is waiting for you to become who you're meant to be. So I've done something. I wasn't going to keep this up, and now I'm doing it for a little while longer. I offered people to come into the program and we're having a great time. We're going to have a great time because we're going to create so much more. But I'm giving people the opportunity to come in now because more of us need to come together to remember who we are, to move to that higher state of consciousness where we can love ourselves, where we can do the things that we came here to do and not feel that we're being put down by something else, which is usually something within us. That's all that ever happens. And I do know it because I've written it. And if you were just to go through the messages on this one day on well, I posted them today, but they're all the July 4th messages. But if you just go through them and I put questions in there too, you'll see what happens. You'll start to ask yourself questions and you'll start to get new perspective on who you are. That will happen. I'm telling you, if you just use this one day. Well, I have 36 years of days, so I do know. And that turned into healing in ways that I could never explain. But I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it to the world because the people who come in and take this advantage of this offer, you're going to be changed. And you're going to demonstrate to the world, yes, we can change everything. Whatever we believed before wasn't real. That was an illusion. And so now we can start to shift that. And the more of us who do that, we won't see a world that looks the way that it does. And so many people are a little afraid, a little angry, and all of that of what's going on. And I'm saying it's your opportunity. And so I want you to, when you go to the site, my website, you are going to put in a code. It's called possible because I know what is possible. And when you put in that code, you will see a price come up for this program and you will own it forever. And you won't believe what the price is. And I'm guaranteeing that you will be a changed person. And I'm going to work with you because that's what we do. We come together, you do the work on your own. It's every you do it as you want, but it's every day you're receiving something that's just going to shift your mind because it's a process. And then we come together in group coachings and we can talk about it and see where we are or where we might be stuck. I have one in just about 20 minutes now, and they're fun because we come out of fear. We come out of hiding out from who we, who we thought we could become. You know, that's really what happens. It's only our fear that holds us back. And now we have an opportunity to change it. And I could never have told you before that me sitting down in 1989 and starting to receive this work was going to turn into what it did, what it has. But I know that it'll change your life. I know that it'll cause you to be successful. It'll cause you to fall in love with yourself. It'll cause you to do all those things because I had to live it, you see, to prove it. But it wasn't just me. When you go to the site and you hear the testimonials on there, you hear what those people will say. The first one of the ones you'll hear is a person who had a difficulty because it's all in our minds, it's all in our consciousness, that's all. And sometimes we can't get over it. We don't know how to change it. And she said she'd been working with something for 35 years that was impacting her life. But with this work, she changed it. But the best one is, and I love this guy so much, and I never met him, and I never saw him. He just did the work. He just came in and did the work. And he said before he did this program, he thought something was wrong with him. And nothing is wrong with us. We've just been taught that. And so now you have a way to figure it out. And now you have a way to do it that you can afford. That's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Now it's only, I'm saying just, through this weekend or the spaces that are left. But I'm guaranteeing it. You will be a different person. I've seen it, I've experienced it, and I know that it works. This is science. That's what it is. It comes down to science. There's certain things that we know about how we operate, how our brains work, and how long it takes to change something, how to do that. So that's why you have this forever. And the whole thing, I want to say this too, because I came up with this. I used to suffer from this, thinking I'm going to change something in my life and it's going to take me 30 days. We used to believe that. That's never true. Never doesn't happen. And then when you don't do it, you start to beat yourself up because you haven't gotten there yet. This you stay with. And there was a study that was done that showed it takes at least 66 days for most people to change anything. So for you to think that you're going to move through your blockages and all of that in just a little bit of time is not realistic, and it just causes you to do more self-sabotage. So I decided we're ending that. That's what we call this program, your last development program, because you wouldn't need to do anything else because you would always have it because you have references. You go back and you start to understand, wow, this is how brilliant I am now. That's the one thing I discovered when people started doing this. They would go back and repeat it again. And that's what will happen for you. But check out the link and listen to the testimonials and check out the messages that are on the site today. You'll get a sense of what this work is and how it changes you. Because now is the time for more of us to move to a higher state of understanding of ourselves, to contribute to creating a much better world. And we do that when we become our best selves. And now you have a way of doing that. See you soon.